The question is, what is endurance? Explain its types. Briefly discuss the methods to develop endurance. Briefly discuss the method to develop endurance. The methods to develop endurance. Write down the answer. Endurance is ability to continue. Endurance is ability to continue the activity under the condition of fatigue, or for a long time, I am repeating. Endurance is ability to continue the activity under the condition of fatigue or for a long time. Next paragraph. The types of endurance are like. Point A, basic endurance. Give a hyphen. It is the ability of an individual to do the movement in which large number of body and muscles involve at slow pace for a duration full stop, such as walking, jogging, swimming at a moderate speed. Point 2, general endurance. It is the ability of an individual to resist fatigue satisfactorily caused by different types of activities. Point 3, specific endurance. It is the ability of an individual to complete task without any fatigue. It is the ability of an individual to complete task without any fatigue. Full stop. Its requirement depends upon the nature of activity. Full stop. Subpoint for specific endurance. First subpoint, speed endurance. It is the ability of an individual to perform a movement with a high speed to resist of fatigue in activities up to 45 seconds. Subpoint 2, short term endurance. Up to this, have you completed? Akash? Please give a response. Give a response, please. Up to this, have you completed? Okay. So subpoint 2, short term endurance. Short term endurance is needed to resist fatigue in sports activities lasting from 45 seconds to 2 minutes. Full stop. For example, 800-meter race. Subpoint 3, medium term endurance. It is the activity lasting from 2 minutes to 11 minutes. 2 minutes to 11 minutes. For example, 1500-meter race and 3000-meter race. 1500-meter race and 3000-meter race. Long term endurance. It is needed for those sports. It is needed for those sports which require more than 11 minutes time. Which require more than 11 minutes time. For example, 5000 meter race to 10,000 meter cross country race. The methods, next paragraph, the methods which are used the methods which are used to develop which are used to develop endurance which are used to develop endurance are following are following are following. Number 1, continuous method. Number 1, continuous method. In continuous method, the exercise is done for a long duration without taking rest. Full stop. We do the exercise for a long duration. Comma. So the intensity of work is low. Full stop. The heart rate during exercise for a sportsman or sportswoman should be between 140 to 160 beats per minute. 140 to 160 beats per minute. Full stop. For fast continuous method, FAST, for fast continuous method, the heart rate of an athlete should be increased up to 175 to 180 beats per minute. 175 to 180 beats per minute. Full stop. Its duration of exercise should be more than 30 minutes. Its duration of exercise should be more than 30 minutes. Full stop. Example: running, walking, cycling, cross country race, etc. Point number 2, interval training. Interval training. This method is very effective for developing endurance. This method is very effective. This method is very effective for developing endurance for track runners. This method is very effective for developing endurance for track runners. Full stop. Intervals are given to the athlete. Intervals are given to the athlete in between the repetition for recovery. In between the repetition for recovery. In between the repetition for recovery. Full stop. The recovery period for athlete varies from person to person. Varies from person to person. The heart rate should go up to 180 beats per minute. The heart rate should go up to 180 beats per minute. And when the heart rate comes down, to 120 to 130 beats per minute, 120 to 130 beats per minute, again the repetition of work starts. Again the repetition of work starts. The training load should be given. Again after checking the heart rate of the athlete. The training load should be given after checking the heart rate of the athlete. Example: football, hockey, middle distance race, etc. Football, hockey, middle distance race, etc. Point number 3, fartlek training. Point number 3, fartlek training. Fartlek training. It is another method to develop the endurance. It is another method to develop endurance. It is another method to develop endurance. Full stop. This method was developed by Swedish coach. This method was developed by Swedish coach Gösta Holmer, G-O-S-T-A-H-O-L-M-E-R, Gösta Holmer in 1930. Fartlek method, also known as speed play. Fartlek method, also known as speed play. Full stop. Athlete changes his or her speed. Athlete changes his or her speed according to surrounding. In bracket, hills, rivers, forest, mud, etc. Bracket close. In bracket, hills, river, forest, mud, etc. Bracket close. The heart rate, full stop, after full stop, the heart rate fluctuates between the heart rate fluctuates between 140 to 180 beats per minute. The heart rate fluctuates between 140 to 180 beats per minute. Full stop. Fartlek training involves varying our varying our pace varying our pace throughout our run. You may note down few questions which are related with this answer, like the questions are: describe the types of endurance on the basis of time with suitable example. That is the speed endurance, short term endurance, middle term endurance, long term endurance. That question is that answer is the same question. The another question is: write down the method to develop endurance. Explain any one of them. You may write down the names only, the methods, that means continuous method, interval method, and Fartlek training method, and explain any one of them. Explain Fartlek method with its parameter. You can explain only the Fartlek training method, or these methods also may come with together for discussion, like explain any two methods to develop the ability to help individual to continue the activity under the condition of fatigue, that means endurance. Okay, or it may come with that type also, that differentiate between continuous method and interval training method. It also may come with these types of question. So you will prepare for that. The answer is same. From this you may answer for that questions. Okay, so today's class this much. We'll come with our next part, next topic. Till then, goodbye, take care.